So you have to make current commitments. You have to make investment and all those things in the current period, expecting something in the future. So we are targeting an unforeseen future, which can either be in our favor or against us. Therefore, analyzing designing a project, and also analyzing the possible cash flow, and also the implementation process and stages of implementing, and also the possible problems that could arise, and also the risk associated with those things have to be analyzed in advance. Still, there can be unforeseen areas. That means, in that case, the project manager has to prepare for any contingent situations. So you can see when you look at this, project financing is a multi-dimensional area which requires a lot of skills, patience, and also the ability to foresee the future. Because those are the things. So after completion of this program certificate course, Mr. Hennayaka will be able and will enable you to get all the required understanding, theoretical as well as the practical aspects of analyzing a project, and also even preparing a project. I saw then you should be able to prepare and then to analyze, because we can't analyze the project if we don't know how to do it. Somebody else will do the project, and we should be able to analyze it. Then if you know how to do it, only you can analyze somebody else's project. So all those aspects are covered here. So again, let me give the credit to Mr. Hennayaka for doing all these things, because this program was new to us. Now, if we go to Mr. Hennayaka, there's a lot of details for his credit, but he has resigned from this, retired from Ceylon Bank as a direct DGM, Deputy General Manager, again, project financing. Before that, he has worked as a Assistant General Manager, project financing. And also he has worked as a project financing officer. Then we can maybe look at his career ladder, climbing up to the level of DGM. Throughout, he has been living with project financing. So then you can understand the conversions and also the competency he has in giving us this knowledge as a practitioner, not only a theoretician, as a practitioner. So then we can count on him, and he's still a lecturer. And also, even though he is specialized in banking, he has an engineering degree. So he also has multi-discipline. With all these things, I am 100% confident, more than 100% confident that you will get the required knowledge and skills to become a very efficient and effective project manager and also the project officer. The evaluation numbers are given, and before even after that, after introduction of this one, let me invite all of our participants to be serious from the very beginning up to the end. You may ask why I am saying that, because sometimes we have seen the participants enroll, and at the very beginning they have very high level of enthusiasm. But after a while, we see a little bit easing of the enthusiasm, and finally, sometimes they tend to complain. It was difficult, and also we could not make it like that. It is possible for you to fail if you are not really committed. Therefore, my invitation is, because this is investment for you. Some banks have financed the project, and also individuals, some have financed the project. Therefore, anyway, whoever is financing, this is an investment. So then this is also a kind of a project for you, because you have an objective, you have a sacrifice, and you have a process. So this is also a project. So if you don't know how to manage this project, it is doubtful whether you can manage another project or advise managing another project. Therefore, let me invite all of you and earnestly request, do all the assignments, homework genuinely, and finally get your certificate with something tangible, in the sense with the quality and understanding and also the capability of doing a job properly with this qualification. Otherwise, it will be just a certificate, piece of paper, doing nothing. We have done our part as the facilitator, and we have the guide, Mr. Hennayaka, and also we have a facilitator, Mr. Benek. In between this course, there may be several requirements. Mr. Benek and Ms. Godakant is there for you to help. And our Mr. Hennayaka will guide you. And also, if you have any question, any problem, and I am here to support it, then you can send an email or call me. And together as a team, we will facilitate your career progression. It's up to you to take something out of that. Okay, with that, let me invite now Mr. Hennayaka to take over. And good night to all of you, and also wish you a very success. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Karunatilaka, Director General, IBSL, Mrs. Buddhika Godakanda, Director, College of Banking and Finance, and Mr. Menaka Vijaydas, and dear participants. As Mr. Karunatilaka mentioned, I think if there is any problem, you can come back to me to improve, or you have to give the feedback to IBSL. Mr. Karunatilaka said to send an email or call him. So that's how you have to get the benefit out of this project, out of this certificate in project finance. And the enthusiasm, he mentioned enthusiasm, that is like when you start beginning of the year, you want to become a fitter person, you join a gym, go a few days, and then you stop going. And the gym gets the benefit because they have membership fees, but you are not getting the benefit. So here also, if you pay your fees, your bank or yourself, but if you don't continue, the IBSL will get the fees, but you will not get benefit. So I urge you, as the Director General said, to make use of this program to be a specialist in project finance. As mentioned by Mr. Karunatilaka, I am a civil engineer by profession. I worked for 9 years as civil engineer. Then I did my MBA in Management of Technology at Asian Institute of Technology. Coming back, actually I did my research with banks because I wanted to join a bank. First I joined a venture capital company for 2.5 years. I think ground rule is you have to mute your mics, but if you want to speak, then unmute and speak. So I joined HNB in 1995 March as Senior Manager Project Finance. Then I became Chief Manager Project Finance, AGM Project Finance. I thought I will be in the Project Finance Department of HNB till I retire. But Mr. Vijayathalaka, my MD at that time, had other ideas. We were dividing the bank into 3 zones so that corporate management officers can be closer to the branches. So one day he called me and said, "PL, you are going to be head of 1 zone." I said, I haven't done banking, so how can I? No, you can handle people. So you go and so I headed this zone for 2 years, and then Mr. Rajendra Tyagaraja became MD at National Bank, and he told me, "PL, you are an engineer. You have to look after the services, procurement, engineering, properties, banking services, facilities management, security, transport." So from January 2006 to December 2015 till I retired, I was DGM services. And I was the CEO Director of Real Estate Subsidiary, SITMA. And we did projects. We did a Spethodia apartment project in Havelock Town while I was the CEO. And we increased HNB branch network from 150 to 250 during that 10-year period. And we had green buildings, first bank to have green branch in Nittamur, 3 green branches, and energy efficient awards. So always look for improvement. So I am happy that all of you have joined because you want to improve yourself. You want to some of you must be working in project finance. You want to improve your skills in project evaluation, project monitoring. And some of you may not be working in project finance. You want to learn new area. Then I retired from HNB in 2015 December. Then I got a job in the hydropower. I went to Uganda also. They were doing projects in Uganda. I was to be the CEO. But again, the banking sector called me. Ceylon Bank asked me to join. And March 2016, I joined Ceylon as DGM Project Finance. They didn't have a project finance department. I set up the project finance department, recruited people, and after my contract, I completed in 2018 September. So I'm still a director of Ceylon Development, the real estate arm from 2016. So I didn't have any contact with the IBSL. I had lots of bank contacts because I was the president of Association of Professional Bankers in 2014. I have been involved about 15 years with APB. So my APB contact, Mr. Senrat Bandara, former GM Bank of Ceylon, and now CEO Cargill's Bank, introduced me to Mr. Karunathila. We had a discussion on 31st of July last year at Mr. Karunathila's office, and I wanted to do this development finance lectures but Mr. Karunathila asked me, you are specialist in project finance, can't you develop a program for project finance? And I have been doing a lot of project finance programs since June 2020. And I said, okay, I will try. Always take a risk and always try to give, I am trying to give my knowledge to the bankers and others so that they will benefit. So Mrs. Buddhika Godakanda got in touch with me and we developed this program, and Mr. Menaka Vijayadasa is helping coordinating this project. Then I contacted my APB friends, asked them to nominate, and Bank of Ceylon nominated 13. Mr. Rohana Kumara, DJ Bank of Ceylon, got 13 people nominated, and Mr. Dimanta Seniviratna, NDB CEO, said, PL, I will get some people nominated. I think from Project Finance Department of NDB, we have 4 participants. So this is the syllabus. Actually, syllabus will come back later because I have in my presentation all of you can see me, right? Certificate in project finance. So I have most of the things in the syllabus is here. What are the objectives of this course? Improve project financing skills and knowledge of bankers, financiers, and project promoters. Actually, I wanted to, not only bankers, I wanted others also to join, I think, but I see in the participants list, there are only bankers. Then effective implementation of projects. Mr. Karunathila also mentioned this implementation of projects. The loans go bad, when the loans get delayed, it goes bad, cost overruns. So effective implementation of projects. When you have knowledge, you will monitor projects. And if you are project promoter, you will do your project in effective way. Then successful completion of higher percentage of projects. Now, if you take government, I once saw the statistics, very minute percentage of projects are completed. And why projects improve the country? So through projects only we can develop the country. We can't, without any projects for manufacturing or services, we cannot develop the country. And specific objectives for you all, train bankers in project and credit appraisal, and encourage project-oriented development lending. I know sometimes in the bank, a customer will come with a project proposal to a branch. If the branch manager and the credit officer, they don't know, they might say, we don't know how to do this, and they will reject. I had a manager those days in Mount Lavinia. When he get a project proposal, he won't even go through. He will come with it to me in the head office. Those days, project finance was at Bambalapitiya. He will come with the proposal to me because he doesn't know anything about it. Right? When you know, someone in the branch knows how a project can be handled, project can be evaluated, then the branches will get the benefit because project finance loans are long term. So if you approve a loan and the loan is the project is doing well, you have a long-term benefit to the branch. Then the banks to have multi-skilled staff who will be able to assist entrepreneurs, SMEs, and large project sponsors, and impart the knowledge and experience of my. So I wanted to impart my knowledge and experience in project finance. That is one of the specific objectives. What will be the outcomes, learning outcomes? Ability to distinguish between project lending and corporate lending. Today we will be discussing what is the difference between project and corporate lending, and identify important aspects of a project. Then learn financial project evaluation techniques. Not only project evaluation, we will learn financial evaluation techniques as well. Discover how to effectively appraise the project, viability, feasibility, and bankability. And we are having in this module, you have to do a project proposal. Like a customer coming to the bank, all of you have to find a project and you submit a project proposal. That is part of your appraisal, assessment. Then you will also have to evaluate the project proposal and prepare a paper to the board or the credit committee, whether that looking at the project aspects, all aspects, whether it can be financed and how it should be financed. And then understand risk assessment process, ability to formulate bankable project proposals, ability to prepare facility appraisal memos, right? That I mentioned already, both ability to formulate bankable project proposals and ability to prepare facility appraisal memos. Then understand the importance of project monitoring and follow-up. The project can be very good and we have given the loan. If we don't monitor and follow up, then the bank will be in trouble. Because if we have to keep calling the project sponsor, project developer, and keep in touch with him so that he has a problem, he will come to the bank. He may not go to money lender and borrow at high cost and get in trouble. And they develop confidence, right? It is even corporate credit officers, they don't have the confidence to appraise project finance facility because it's different. So you will develop confidence in making better decisions, and in not only in project finance, in career and life. Any other outcomes? You want any other outcomes? You share with me, so we'll try. I went through the participant list. Right? We have assistant general managers, actually one, chief managers, senior managers, assistant managers. And then I told Menak also, now we don't have executives, but we have junior executives and banking assistants. Now, I would like to, now this online thing is very good, so you can study from home, but the problem for the resource person is we can't see the participants. So I like the physical class because then we have more interaction, and then we can ask questions, you can ask questions. Here, you don't see. So I want to see each of you today, right? And you have to switch on your video camera if you can. and the unmute microphone, and each of you introduce and tell me your name. I didn't tell you to unmute already. Just keep it mute, and after you speak, again unmute, right? So I want you to tell me your name. I will actually call from the list whether if you are there. Name, bank, designation, experience, and what you expect from this course. Okay, shall we start? First, Chanika Abhiratna. Chanika, are you there? Right. We have 26 who had joined. Okay, if Chanika is not there, we'll go to Gayantika Ellavala. I was also muted. That's the reason. No, I'm. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Thank you. All right. So 48 hours. This is the longest project finance course I am doing because I was requested to do a certificate course. So we together will be the pioneers in project finance certificate course, as Mr. Karnatika mentioned. So we all have to work together as a team and achieve this. And main objective is you get the certificate, not getting the certificate, but you learn how to do project finance. So evaluation at the moment, we have decided examination 70%, assignments 10, and case study 20%. Maybe I will discuss with IBSL and will increase the assignments to 20% and examination 60%. So you can get marks even before the exam. The grading, 81% and above is distinction, 65 to 80 merit, 51 to 64 pass, and 50% and below fail. So you'll have to get minimum of 51%, right? Not 50%, 51%. Course contents. Today I'm doing the introduction to project finance. Maybe we'll have to do next week as well, continue that. Project appraisal, financial analysis, project analysis and evaluation, feasibility studies, risk and mitigates, risk and return, credit analysis by lenders, the documentation. Because in project finance, when you do large projects, the documentation is very important. Even any project, any loan, as you know, documentation is important. But large projects, there are several documents, so we'll go through. I might get assistance of Maldivian lawyer. When we finance projects in Maldives, he was our lawyer when I was at Ceylon Bank. I have told him, assist me in finalizing this documentation part of the course. And case study, assignment, and assessment also. We'll have assignment on preparation of a project proposal, assignment of project appraisal and approval memo, and we'll see whether you can do presentations, right? Then when you get involved, if it is one way that I speak and you listen, you will not learn much. But if I speak, you listen, and you speak, I listen also, both of us will, all of us will learn. No, few thoughts, few ground rules first. Always keep your mic muted and the camera closed. And if you want to speak, unmute, speak, and mute again. Right? You can stop me anytime. So share your learnings, your experience in the class, because I am going to share my experience, my learnings, and you also have your experience and your learning. So share. Don't be shy to speak. Now this is not a classroom. Also, there is no one else seeing you in the classroom. So speak and share. When you, as I said earlier, when you share, when you speak, you will learn, and we will learn all. And there are no stupid questions. You can ask any question, and I will not say there is a stupid question I can't answer, but I will answer any question if I know. Participation in the course will enhance your knowledge. And as I said, stop anytime and ask questions, comments, and give me feedback. Now, Mr. Karnatik has also said to give him feedback. Give me feedback if you are not happy. If you are happy, you give me, tell me that is good, how you are doing well. So continue in that way. And attend to homework. When I give homework, attend to them and share it back with me. So we'll get back to introduction to project finance. Get to introduction to project finance. So remember, next Tuesday, first thing we will be doing is introducing yourself. I am trying to use the mouse, but here you have to use the arrows. Now, introduction to project finance is now there is a definition of a project, right? I have given 3 definitions. What is a project? A project is one-time set of activities with the start and end, with a defined set of desired results, and one shot, time limited. I will go to the board and write it for you, so we can can you see me writing on the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Still you can't see me. I just haven't started it. Thank you, but that's okay. So there are 3 definitions. We have one. Okay. Two. I enjoy this whiteboard because up to now the training I have done could not write anything. So first definition is one time. A project is one time set of activities. One time set of activities. One time set of activities. With a start and end. With a start and end. Hope you can read my writing. And define set of desired results. Define set of desired results. The second definition one shot. This is not that, not Ranjan Ramanayaka, one shot is, that is like time limited, right? One shot and time limited. So we are doing only once. If you are doing a project, this one time, one shot, time limited. Goal directed. Major undertaking. Major undertaking. Requiring the commitment of varied skills and resources. The third one, a combination of human and non-human resources. Pulled together in a temporary organization. Temporary organization. To achieve specific goals. Right. Now, there are a lot of common things. Right? Now, if you take this goal directed, right? Because we have to achieve goals and say specific goals, right? And here, same thing. Define set of desired results. That is also right. And then other thing, temporary organization, right? Or with start and end. Project will start and end. It's not like an organization. It is, you start the project, you end the project, then right. Here also it says time limited and one shot. Time limited, one shot, and temporary organization. And one-time set of activities, and this is very important, major undertaking. So we are not, everything we can say projects, but in project finance, we consider large projects as project finance. If not, we call them SME, then microfinance, right? So large, so major undertaking only we call project finance. And you take, we need varied skills. One person cannot do a project. We need varied skills and resources. And here, human and non-human resources. So you not only human resources, we need non-human resources as well. So shall we look at an example? So can someone give an example of a project based on this definition? Anyone wants to try? Subhagini, you want to try? Okay, I will explain. Now, examples of a project. If you take the last year's parliamentary elections, right? That was a project. The election commission organized elections, right? And then they will have to prepare the voters list, right? Then they have to prepare the candidates list and lot of things. And after they have the election, after counting the votes and after declaring winners, that project is over. So they will then again get ready for the next election. Right? Luckily, we don't have the provincial council elections. If not, the election commission will be always having elections. Then if you take even a campaign, now someone contested last parliament election, he wanted to contest. So from the what is his objective? To become a member of parliament. Right? So to become member of parliament, he can't from the nominations and voting and declaration of winners, he will be that is the project life cycle. And one-time set of activities. You will have posters and pocket meetings, TV debates, and varied skills and resources. He will need designers, printers, speakers for his meetings, and analysts to analyze his strengths, his vote base, right? Other types of projects. If we take projects we are financing, right? Major construction projects, expressway, power projects, port city, those are major projects. Any questions on the project definition? So we'll get back to the presentation. You can share the screen. Okay. You can see the screen. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Because all the time I ask this question because once I did a course and I was explaining, after 10 minutes, one student says, "So are you using a presentation?" Because they have been just listening to me, that presentation has not moved. Right? So always I will ask you, oh, what is that echo? So now you understand the project, is it? Right. We are going to the next slide. How projects are conceived. Projects are conceived. It is a good business idea. It should be a good business idea. And it should be technically feasible. Now you take, for example, hydropower. I have financed a lot of hydropower projects when I was at HNB because we had these World Bank credit lines. And so we have to find the technically feasible hydropower project. And you should be able to construct in the terrain, rough terrain. Then economically viable. Now, economically viable means there are projects viable because of subsidies. Now, the GSP plus garment export to Europe, there is subsidies. So, a lot of garments are exported to Europe. Now, present import control. Some products are now not brought to Sri Lanka, right? So, when the import controls are there, some projects will be viable, but those are not economically viable because they can't compete when there is market forces. And that's why recently a gazette was reversed within one day because I think the government wanted to allow some ceramic items to come to Sri Lanka. That import restriction was removed. But I think the ceramic industry here, they went back to the government and said, if you do that, we are starting projects, we will not be able to make money, make profits. We will have to stop those new projects, new factories, we will have to stop it. So the government reversed the decision, and they have asked for 5 years that import restriction for them to be viable. Then the politically suitable. If you take renewable energy, then it is politically suitable. And then tire factory recently constructed. Why? Because of the employment, because of the export earnings, it is politically suitable. Socially acceptable. Socially, we remember there were efforts to have casinos in Sri Lanka, but it was not socially acceptable. A lot of people protested, and the government stopped having the casinos. Now, we say good business idea, right? We take Mattal Airport. Is it a good business idea? I think second international airport in Sri Lanka is a good business idea. Right? That is very good business idea. But the project appraisal and the project location may not be the best place. Right? And then the second commercial seaport is a very good business idea for the government. But Hambantota was in the correct place. Then Colombo Port City, it's a very good business idea, and we have to see whether it will work, because our foreign direct investment, we keep a lot of hope on Colombo Port City, because several people will come and invest it in the Colombo Port City, so that will be foreign direct investment for the country. I wanted to check what are the government projects at the moment. Went to the Department of External Resources website. They have all projects in the website and very little information. Any questions? Another rule, we will stop at 8 and have a break of 15 minutes, and we'll start at 8:15. And some of you who are hungry, right? Even I have my dinner normally at 7, so I have to be having dinner after maybe around 9:30 today. So we'll have at 8 to 8:15 a break, then 8:15 to 9, or a little bit late than 9. Okay. Is that, I hope it is okay with you. Right. Now we go to characteristics, features of a project. So again, I will use the whiteboard. Okay. I am erasing this. I think you might have a book, notebook with you, or the notes have been shared. You can maybe write down on the notes itself, so that you will have some material. Features of a project. This is coming from the definition as well. Fixed set of objectives. Right. fixed set of objectives. We will say we are going to do a hotel project, right? So hotel project, what are the set of objectives? I want your feedback. I told at the beginning, we need to have dialogue and learn from each other. So tell me, what are the fixed set of objectives for a hotel project? I'll give one, right? Star category. So when you start a hotel project, you say you have to think what type of hotel, 5-star, 4-star, or 3-star. I'm going to do 5-star hotel, right? So that is one. What are the other objectives? Don't worry, you can make mistakes. Just
Number of rooms.
fun.
Number of rooms.
Yeah, very good. Who is? Can you tell me your name?
Shanaka from Bank of Sri Lanka, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Anika. So, the number of rooms. Now they call it number of keys. We used to say number of rooms. Now you get a project proposal, you say number of keys. Key and room is same because every room has one key, right? And open the door. So number of keys. Thank you very much, Shamil. Others, someone else or? Someone else? Oh, Shanaka, you can try again. What any other? Come on, come on. I can't say boys and girls, but at my age, I can call you boys and girls. I am 15 years older than the oldest person, oldest student here. Sarindri, can you tell me what are the other objectives?
Number of workers to be employed. Staff. Number of workers to be employed.
Number of workers to be employed. Yeah, okay. We can say, yeah,
Workforce.
like this, or maybe whether you go for management company or you run the hotel by yourself. Okay.
Okay.
So most of the resorts in Maldives, they get management companies because they have the contacts, they have the markets, right? So we can say manage, self-manage, or managed by outside person. Workforce. Workforce was what's little difficult to decide at the beginning when you set the objectives, but I think you have a point. Yes, workforce. That didn't come to mind. Then the physical. Tell me some other physical, like the rooms, physical things we are looking. Now, you looked at the human resources side, workforce, how many people to be employed. Yeah. Okay.
Facilities available in the
Yes, very good. Facilities available. What type of facilities?
swimming pool or what sort of facilities?
Yeah, that's very good. Actually, swimming pool was on my list. Swimming pool. Pool or pools. You know, some hotels, they have 2-3 pools, right? So depending on the facility, swimming pool. Then these days, we don't use this very much, banquet halls. But Sri Lankans are not scared of COVID, but they have their weddings, and still the hotels will have business. I got a wedding invitation for 10th of March. So banquet halls. Then some more things. Sports facilities. Galadari used to have tennis courts, and I think UDA wanted them to close it because they have used the car park for the tennis court. The car park, parking, right? Parking, because that is very important for a hotel. How much parking available? If not, there are these business hotels. They don't have parking. They get people to come and stay and go, but they don't have parking. Then spa, whether okay. Anything else come into any of your minds? Very good participation. Thank you very much. Then we'll go to the lifespan. So you can think, you look at another project, maybe tire manufacturing facility. So what is their fixed set of objectives? So because if you don't have objective, then you don't have a project. Right. Lifespan. Lifespan is easy thing that we said temporary organization and one shot, one time. Right? So that is maybe 3 years, 4 years, the lifespan. Teamwork. I think I mentioned this earlier also, teamwork. Projects are major undertakings. Can one person do a project? No, one person cannot do a project. So if you take this hotel project, right? This hotel project, who do we need for the teamwork? Like we need a lot of professionals. Right? Whom do we need? Again, I would like your participation.
Engineers for construction. Engineers for construction.
Yeah, engineers. Okay, correct. Engineers. Very good. First,
Designers, architects.
yeah, architects.
Architects.
Architects is yeah. But we need someone else also at the beginning. Architects, before the architect, we need the client. Now, teamwork, client. The client is the first person. Then he will get architects as the designers, then engineers. Who is? When
Investor.
one? Investors.
Investors.
Yeah, correct. Investors. Yeah, but investors, maybe they may not have, they invest, and some investors will directly get involved in the management, or they will be passive investors. But investors also, okay. Then you get this hotel project, you have to survey it. Initially. Surveyors. And you have to draw plans. Draftsman. Then we got civil engineers. Engineers also, there are several types: civil,
Structural.
mechanical, yeah, structural, mechanical, electrical. Right? So we need different types, because when you do a hotel, civil engineers for the construction, M&E engineers for the facilities. Then, although there is an architect, you need a hotel consultant. The architect will know the buildings, right? But hotel consultant, you need, because they know what is required by the hotel. Even the client will not know. Hotel consultant with experience in hotel. Now, when you give construct hotels and give for management, the management party will give you their requirements, right? And the hotel should be built according to their requirements. So that is there, because they know what is a hotel, how the hotel will, like where the kitchen should be, where the restaurant should be, and those things they will give their input. So we have to get. They should not be working on their own. They should work as a team. Then now you can't see my slide. No, only you can see the whiteboard, right? Okay. And our next one is life cycle. For the life cycle, I have another slide, so we'll go to that side. Uniqueness. What is meant by uniqueness? Uniqueness. Now each of you are unique, right? I can't find another Kalum, Nupeva, right? Because you will be unique. You can't. No one can, like, if you are not cloned, you are the only Kalum, right? Same as like Noani. So we are all unique people, and we have a difference. So even projects, you can't have same projects twice. That is, each project is unique. Even you design a house with the same design and construct, there can be changes in the foundation depending on the soil conditions. So projects are unique. Then we have change. What is change? All of you know, everything changes, right? So the project, we might have assumptions at the beginning of the project, right? But we'll have to change due to the change in situation. Now, several projects would have changed due to COVID, because when the COVID came in, they didn't expect it. There was a change, so the change has to be put in because of the COVID. Right? Because of the change, you have to adapt to the changes. And we have assumed some conditions at the conception, definition stage, right, and the design and implementation stage. However, we know everything changed. If you take a building construction, the designs have to be changed to suit site conditions. Development of condominiums, they would have to change their projections due to tax change. There was this tax, what is that tax? I think withholding tax on apartment sales was introduced by last government. I think that is not there now. And so they have to change their projections with those things. Okay. Right. Any questions? I am getting used to this system, so you have to excuse me. Right. Now I discuss it to fixed set of objectives, lifespan, teamwork, life cycle. I said in the next slide, and uniqueness, change, risk and uncertainty. I didn't discuss risk and uncertainty. Actually, Again COVID-19. Who would have expected COVID-19? No one. We will study later how risks are identified and mitigated. Right? Now I think our break time has passed. The time is 9 minutes past 8. I will come back after a cup of tea by 8:20. So maybe 8:25. Okay, 8:25. Be back again. See you. Welcome back. Right. Now, any questions? This characteristics, features of a project. Do you have any questions? You can hear me, no? You can hear me and see the screen. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Right. Okay, we'll go to the next project life cycle. I said the life cycle we didn't discuss. We are now discussing project life cycle. Project life cycle, there are different phases: conception, definition, planning and organizing, and implementation phase. So we'll have a look at each phase. Conception phase. Now I will ask a question. I will give a situation. Assume your company has a land 80 perch block in downtown Colombo. What are the options for that land? What are the options for that land? I think I will go to the board. So can you see the board? I'm erasing this. Okay. Now conception phase. My case is 80 perch block. We say Union Place. What are the options for this land? What can you do with this land? You know, when Ceylon Development invited me as a director after I retired from HNB, because they knew at Ceylon in HNB SIPMA Development, I was the CEO director. They wanted to develop the land available to them. So they had the land in Union Place, Ceylon Development. But when we wanted to develop it, the central bank said bank subsidiaries cannot do projects outside the bank. We were given that approval when we were at HNB, but they have changed. So what were the options we were having with this 80 perch block at Union Place? Why are some leaving? Can someone answer? Kalum?
Selling it to a person who's interested in constructing a property, an apartment complex.
Yeah, correct. We that we own the land, we want to develop for apartment complex, right? Because you are correct, because you in Colombo too, there are so many apartment complexes. Right? There is this Twin Peaks, then that building which is at an angle, right? Then the Abans apartment. We can do an apartment complex, right? What else? We can construct office complex, like a commercial building, office complex. Now HNB Tower is a office building, and earlier it was only mute your mics, please. Earlier, if you are speaking, speak to me, unmute. Right. Office complex like HNB Towers, earlier designed to have only the HNB, but later we rented it out, some floors. So can be office complex. What is then we have Colombo 2 access towers, access tower 1, access tower 2, right? Those are office buildings. Then we can have retail. Retail building, like this stock project doing with hotel building, right? Retail. I don't know whether actually it should be retail building. Then what is? Can have a hotel. Actually, Ceylon development was planning to have a hotel.
Lease the space out.
Pardon?
You can lease out the space for maybe a car park or something.
Ah, yes. Thank you. Lease out for a car park, but that is actually not, you won't get so much. That we were trying with a Sunken land car park, because until they develop the project and until they conceptualize the project, you can get income by leasing out for a car park. Right? But you can have a maybe car park building. Right? Now the government is planning, it seems, in where the otters is there, they are thinking of one option is car park building. Now even the Marine Drive, it is coming up to passing American Embassy, Colombo Swimming Club. Now they don't want to go above ground because of Gold Face Hotel. They are thinking of tunnel. Don't know what has been decided. So they are thinking of tunnel. So these are options. So the conception phase, you look at each option, and you may be doing a feasibility of each option and see the feasibility option, feasibility study, but to decide on what option you are going to do. Okay. Now, what Keyes did, Keyes had office space in Glennie Street, right, in Colombo 2, and their head office, Elephant House. It was a vast extent of land, vast extent of real estate. The Keyes board would have looked at the options. What are we going to? There's another option here I have missed. Sell. You know, that's what Ceylon development did. We cannot do any projects. The bank, we can't do building for the bank because we already have the 2 towers, actually 1 tower office building, 1 tower apartment building. And so we sold the land in Union Place. Okay. So that is another option. Sometimes it will be more profitable than doing a project, because project has a lot of risk and you may not get what you are thinking, but selling the land, you get cash straight away. Right. So what this Keyes waterfront project. Now they both would have looked at different options, and then the concept would have been the present construction they are going ahead. But Haley's, they have big land at Dean's Road, and they have not done much on their land. And Mr. Dhammikapera used to meet us when I was at HNB. He wanted to have a road connecting Dean's Road, Dari Road, through Haley's land, HNB and Browns, but it did not materialize. And he said the value of all the assets will go up, so there will be another road linking Dean's Road and Dari Road. Right. Definition phase. Right. Now next phase is definition. So we go to the what we discussed now was conception phase. Then after conception, it is then the definition. This can happen when you want to marry as well. You get the conception phase, you think of married, right? Then when you think of married, and you have to define what sort of a person you are going to marry. So you have to define that. So similarly, now I am taking the waterfront project, John Keels. Now they have defined, I think what they are doing now is 800 room 5-star hotel. $800 5-star hotel. Okay. Then I will try to get a presentation by the head of projects of John Keels on the project, because we worked very closely when he was at Aitken Spins in Maldives hotel projects. 2 residential towers. One office tower. Project cost, they would have guessed $850 million. $850 million USD, and the floor area 422,000 square feet. This is like the objectives we discussed earlier. Objectives, what they were trying to have. This is a gross flow area, GFA, gross flow area. So these are the definition phase. Then we will get back to the slide. Okay. Right. We covered conception phase, the definition phase, now planning and organizing phase. Now project infrastructure and enabling services. If you take the John Keels example, now they had to vacate the offices which were there at their complex, right? And they have to provide access. All these services are coming under planning and organizing phase. They have to plan how are we going to vacate, where are we going to relocate, and how are we going to get the site cleared. Then the organization and manpower. Organization and manpower. Like we discuss the team. So you have to put the team in place, the project team, the staffing, all this should be planned. Schedules and budgets. You have to schedule implementation schedule, and quantity surveyors has to get in and estimate the project cost. Then most difficult part, approvals from government agencies like UDA, CMC, CEB, BOI. What about now? Ceylon Development has a land in Moratual. Now several years now, I have been in the board now the 6th year. We have been trying to get UDA approval, but we have to go from pillar to post. Different authorities approval is requested by UDA, CA approval, and then the I think the low line area. I think now name has been changed now. Like those approvals, so approvals from government agencies. Arrangement of finance. Yeah, that is, you need to arrange finance when we know the project cost is how much? Project cost is 850 million US dollars. Okay. And the John case went ahead, to my thinking, with the waterfront project was they had a lot of money, lot of cash with the company. So they would have borrowed as well. They didn't have so much of money, but to use the money and the land to bring more income to the company. Okay, so they had a lot of free funds, and banks would have gone behind them to give project loans to this project, because John Case is one of the leading conglomerates in Sri Lanka. Then identification of a project manager. At this stage, you have to identify the project manager and the project management. How are you going to manage the project? The site preparation and investigation, and construction resources and materials, all are coming under this stage, planning and organizing phase. The third is the implementation phase. It takes 80% of the project work. We looked at conception, definition, planning, and organizing takes 20%, and implementation phase takes 80%. Right? So what do we do at the implementation phase? We prepare the specifications of equipment and machinery. Like we is the project sponsor, project promoter, the team will prepare specifications for equipment and machinery. Then you order equipment, and then line up construction contractors. This project, one contractor cannot do. Maybe they have 2-3 contractors. But Sanken was telling me that they bid it. They were little higher than the present contractor, I think foreign contractor. They didn't get the job. Issue of construction drawings. So the structural engineers, the engineering staff should give construction drawings to the contractor. Civil construction, then the equipment and machinery erection, then electricity water connections, testing and checking, trial run, and this is like you commission the building. If it is a new building, you commission the building. So all major projects, right? Now we'll get back to so all major projects, they have a slow start. All major projects have slow start. because the definition, conception phases are slow start. Then you have quick momentum. Slow start, quick momentum, again slow finish. Now, if you are involved in a house construction, right, you would have realized you will remember design, plan, approvals. It will be very slow. Then construction, fast. Then finishes, again slow. Now you take apartment projects coming up in Colombo. They would have taken long time to plan it. Then the superstructure construction goes very fast, but then the completion finishes takes long time. Did you see the whiteboard earlier? Okay. Any questions from this, the project life cycle?
Sir, can you elaborate project sponsor and project promoter?
Both are used interchangeably to the same. Project sponsor or project promoter is the person who is actually major equity holder or who has the land is the project sponsor. Okay? So both words are for similar, same person. Right? Project sponsor or project promoter. Very good question. Yeah. Sometimes we get confused, but that project sponsor is that who wants to do the project sponsoring. Project promoter also who wants to do the project. So those both are same. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now that project life cycle phases, I have put it in a diagram. You start with conception, then definition, planning and organizing, implementation. After implementation, actual project is completed, but then when the building is completed, you operate it, operation. And after operations, you have to do evaluation. Yesterday, we organized at Organization of Professional Associations, challenges, economic challenges for Sri Lanka. What is the role of professionals? Right? Now, how many projects do we evaluate after the project is done? Because we have objectives initially. We have goals, objectives at the start. Right? After completion, we have to do evaluation and see like a post project evaluation and to like a post audit to see whether we have achieved what we wanted initially. And that's what Mr. Chandra Jayaratna was saying in his remarks, that is not available in Sri Lanka. We do projects and then we go to another project, but we don't evaluate, and from evaluation we can learn what we have done correctly, right? What we have done correctly and what we have not done correctly, how we can improve in the next project. So if we do projects like that, then we will improve. The country and the project implementation will improve. So after evaluation, and why again the line to conception, that is when you do another project, you use this the knowledge you have gained from evaluation when you do another project. Now, actually, I did that when we did Spathodia apartment project at Havelock Road, and that was for the bank, and I was working as DGM services as well as CEO of Sigma. For the bank, doing Spathodia not the correct thing. It's not a bank's project. So my staff asked, are we doing any other projects? I said no. What I learned was that is not, the bank should not be getting involved because we lost money also. Our managing director, Mr. Vijay Tilaka, thought everyone is making money doing apartment projects, and we should also do one because we had just completed the HNB towers and we have technical people. We will do an apartment project. But when we started, the financial crisis came in, and we could not sell any apartment before completion. Right? That the apartment market crashed. So we took a big overdraft from the bank and we completed. After that only we sold. So our project, operationally we were profitable, but financially we had, because of the financial cost of OD rate at 20%, we made a loss in that project. Because of that, and it is not related to banking, I said we will not do any project. So evaluation, I didn't do a thorough evaluation, like a structured evaluation, but that was my decision not to do another project. We are going to project finance. Before that, do you have any questions? Project finance. Now, this is the definition of project finance, and I have broken it down to several points, right? And in the next slide, project finance. Project finance is financing of any major capital investment project using external funding sources through risk assumption patterns. That not only the promoters, there's another word, promoter, sponsor, those are the two words. Sponsor and promoter, external funding sources through risk assumption patterns. Then you have a structure of a cohesive capital investment financing package. Right? Because if you don't have enough money for the project, then you can't complete the project. When you have too much money also, you have a problem because your loans will be too high. You won't be able to pay the loans. So it's a cohesive capital investment financing package. And from variety of funding sources and parties willing to bear risk. So when you are doing a major project, you get from variety of funding sources, banks, financial institutions, maybe international financial institutions like IFC. John Keys got a loan recently from IFC. Right. Involves raising equity, preference shares, and debt. Okay. Participants in the capital structure are those with commercial interest. So capital structure means the financing structure, where equity, debt, and preference shares, who are interested, who are having commercial interest. Even the buyers may join the as an investor. Okay. Participating in the capital structure are those with commercial interest. Include, again, project sponsors, suppliers, purchasers of the project output. They can be part of the capital structure. Right. Now, for the just example for cohesive capital investment and from funding sources, variety of funding sources. Now, apartment project is financed, right? How is it financed? Any of you know? Or how the project is financed, apartment project?
bank loans, pre-sales?
Usually it's a combination of equity,
Combination
pre-sales
of,
and debt. Yes.
yeah, combination of equity,
Equity,
pre-sales and debt. Thank you.
pre-sales, debt.
Debt. No, thank you very much, both of you. Actually, no, but is it happening actually? I know some even big contractor, big developer, they have done small, they have been a contractor, they have done small apartment projects and made a lot of money, right? And they haven't put any equity, right? They have used bank loan and the pre-sales, right? Because of the demand. And then they have migrated to a large project and they are trying to do the same way. And then the market also not very good, so they get stuck because they don't have enough funding, because they have not structured that properly, because they don't have experience in doing that large projects, and the experience they got during doing small projects in a good market environment, and they thought of using for the large project. Now normally it's like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. If it is there, 1/3 of equity, 1/3 of advances, and 1/3 of loan, then I think the project risk will be less. If not, what happens is when there are no advances coming, but they will have to go back to the bank and ask for additional loan. Okay? They would have said they are bringing equity, but I think most of these developers, they don't bring in much equity. Even Spathodia, I don't think we did much equity, but because of we are subsidiary of HNB, we took the loan, the overdraft from HNB to finance the project. And the land was one of our customers. He put in the land, and we did the project. Okay. Now, what are the external sources of project finance? Right? Because we discuss here external sources of project finance. I did that. External funding sources through risk assumption patterns, right? Okay. So external sources of project finance, commercial banks, development finance institutions. We used to have DFCC and NDB as DFIs, but we don't have now. Export credit agencies. How does this work? Export credit agencies. Now, export credit agencies, right? This is external sources of project finances other than the project promoter or the sponsors and equity holders, right? The others. Now, export credit agencies work. The developed countries want to support their contractors, manufacturers, exporters to sell their machinery, loans and guarantee. Now, even Maldives, when you finance a project, the 85% is financed by the Chinese government, right? Because the Chinese government want their contractor to get the project. So 85% of the thing is given as loan by the by a Chinese bank, right? For the Chinese Exim Bank has given for the projects, the export credit agency, and they give for the Chinese contractor, arrange that with the contract. The balance 15% also they come to loans. To we did lot of loans of that 15%. Sri Lankan banks are doing that. Okay. Right. Multilateral institutions, ADB, World Bank, IFC, IDA, even JICA, right? And the lessors, maybe the machineries can come from as leasing. And the public and private debt market. You can go list the company, right? Go and list the company and raise money. or private debt market. You go to the private debt market and raise money like debentures. A range of equity sources such as venture capital companies, merchant banks, etc. And the supplier credit. So those are some of the external sources of project finance. Nature and importance of project finance. Nature. Now, if you compare project finance, it's long term rather than short term, right? Project finance is long term rather than short term, and large investment rather than small investment, because we said these are major undertakings, and more complicated due to concerns of future cash flows and or value. Our Director General also mentioned, because here we are looking at payment of the loan from future cash flows, right? And because of that, we have a risk, because we don't know whether the project will, those are all estimates, future cash flow we'll discuss in detail later. And the importance, because large amounts of resources are often involved. Business strategy, profitability, and survival. Now, after we get into a project, difficult to bail out once you make an investment, right? And what will happen after, if a project after using vast amount of resources is not economically viable, then resources go on to waste. We know Mihinnea, lot of waste of money. Even Sri Lankan Airlines also same, right? It's not giving us return for money, but then we have a national airline, we are financing it. Then Lankaputra Bank, you might remember, one government started Lankaputra Bank, and a lot of investment would have gone in, and it didn't produce results. Even we can call Mattala Airport, right? Hambantota Seaport, all these, have we got the economic return out of the investment? So that is where that post-project evaluation comes in. We have to do a post-project evaluation, see whether what our objectives were realized, whether we have achieved our returns. Project finance loans. Project finance is long-term financing of infrastructure and industrial projects based upon the projected cash flows of the project rather than the balance sheet of the project sponsors. Very important, because project finance infrastructure, which is needed for the country, and industrial projects again needed for the country, right? Because of the country's development, and based on project cash flows, right? And we don't go by the promoter or the sponsor's balance sheet, right? Because that is not important. That is important to see whether the sponsor has the financial capacity, but for the project viability, we have to look at the projected cash flows. And the project sponsor's standing, integrity, and reputation matters, right? Still there are bankers who don't understand this aspect, because always they look for, the bankers, we look for security, right? We say look for security, we don't look at the cash flows, right? We think if we have security and if the sponsor is good, then we can give the loan. The loans are secured by the project assets and paid entirely from project cash flow rather than from general assets or assets net worth of the sponsors, right? But so you can see that projects are paid entirely from project cash flow, not from the promoter's assets or net worth of the project sponsors. I will share a project proposal submitted by a bank for approval, that project, the project promoter has agreed, if there is no cash flows from the project, from his personal cash flows to pay the project loan. Okay. Project lenders are given a lien over the shares and are able to assume control of a project company if the project company has difficulties complying with the loan terms. Now, this we didn't do in the past, and we may not do for small projects, but especially we do for utility projects. Now, hydropower projects, if the project promoter cannot settle the loan, he has problem. If we go and take the equipment is not enough, machinery and the pipelines, all these things are not enough, because the project company has got the license from CEB, license from Renewable Energy Authority, right? Sustainable Energy Authority. They have got all these license. So the project, we have to get a lien over the shares, so that if we have a problem, we take over the company and we can transfer company to some other investor, right? So always in utility hydropower projects, we do that. I think we have passed 9. Next time we'll compare this project finance versus corporate finance. And any questions before we conclude for the day? Are you happy that you joined this program?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? I will share my email with you. I should have put it on the, right, I can put it on the board. My email address, 4513 at gmail.com. 4513 at gmail.com. My mobile 0777 562 01. And I say, some of your designations are not given. So I think Mr. Menaka will contact you and give your designations. And see you next Tuesday, and be ready with your